Debbi Gail Stone was the first Disneyland employee to ever get killed in a horrific incident involving a ride. Her gruesome death was a result of getting crushed from head to toe by closing walls that literally squeezed bones and blood out of her body. Amusement parks are charming, fascinating places that leave every child with happy, serene memories that last a lifetime. Disneyland is perhaps the most enchanting theme park in the world and is definitely an unforgettable experience. We often hear about accidents in such joyful heavens that mostly result in injuries and occasionally deaths among the patrons, but we rarely hear about the death of a theme park employee by the very rides they work on. Debbi Stone was perhaps the first theme park employee in America to ever be killed in a horrendous manner that can only be described as a very chilling incident that breaks the heart. She was literally crushed between moving mechanical walls that squeezed the blood out of her fragile, small body. Stay tuned to learn more about Debbi's story of horror and demise at Disneyland, in addition to a legend that her spirit still lingers in the building where she died. On July 8, 1974, Debbi Stone was having the time of her life at her new dream job at Disneyland. A temporary job she enjoyed, but mainly accepted in order to save money for her college tuition fees. That particular day was more special than any other day in her life, for it was the day she called her parents and informed them that she is in love and wants their blessing to be engaged. Her parents were a little mystified, for she was only 18 years old with big college plans. Nevertheless, they were happy for her and wanted to meet her future husband. That particular night, she was working at the America Sings ride in Disneyland as a hostess. At around 10:30 p.m., she somehow found herself trapped between a stationary wall and a moving stage wall. Her last breath was a scream of agony and excruciating pain as the two mechanical walls crushed her body. She immediately died. To this very day, no one knows what really happened, whether it was a fatal mishap or sheer negligence. Disneyland is a complex place. Behind all the smiles, laughter, thrills, and excitement, there are thousands of workers that invest their minds and souls to make the patrons happy, comfortable, and safe. When Walt Disney conceived the idea for Disneyland, he said it was a result of his belief that there must be an enchanting place for parents and children to have memorable times together. It did not occur to him that such an enchanting place can produce fatal jobs. Everyone knows that theme parks can be dangerous for patrons due to human error, mechanical flaws, or bad luck, as some might say. However, very few realize that behind all the charming and enchanting rides and shows, there is an army of people performing in many circumstances risky duties and tasks where things can so easily go gravely wrong, and they do not get paid all that much at all. Most of these people chose to work in theme parks despite the low pay, because they are the type of human beings that truly love bringing others, especially children and the young at heart, unparalleled joy. For them, it is also the equivalent of reliving old happy childhood memories over and over again. For some, these memories might have been the only truly happy times in their childhood. These are the reasons that drove Debbi Stone to apply for a job at Disneyland right after she graduated from high school. She loved the place, and she was known for her kind, cheerful spirit that cared for others. For Debbi, getting a job at Disneyland meant hitting two birds with one stone. She gets to live the dream, while also saving for her college tuition fees. Debbi Stone was born on June 18, 1956, in Santa Ana, California. She was simply beautiful and talented. At school, she excelled in academics as well as athletics, especially track and swimming. She chose to enroll at Iowa State University and, as any excited, light-spirited teenager, longed to work in the land of dreams, Disneyland. She got what she desired and was hired for the summer as a hostess. On July 8, 1974, merely 9 days after a new attraction called America Sings opens, Debbi Gail Stone was horrifically crushed to death between two walls of the moving theater stages between 10:30 p.m. and 10:40 p.m. A narrow gap between a fixed wall and a rotating, moving mechanical wall that is part of one of the mobile stages was open. And for some unknown reason, poor Debbi Stone either fell, stepped backward, or tried to jump from one stage to the other as the rotating wall began to move after the end of an act, which usually lasts between 4 and 6 minutes. Some people heard her last desperate scream before she was crushed. They rushed and notified the park staff, but most of the spectators thought it was part of the show. By the time the staff got to her, she had already died from her injuries. Mere days before the incident, Disneyland launched the new major ride, America Sings, which is an automated musical extravaganza that paid tribute to the musical history of America. This new ride was technically an upgrade of an existing ride called Carousel of Progress. The ride featured 6 stages in the center of the building. These 6 theaters rotated around in sequence to allow the theater audience to experience each popular performance in sequence. The performance consisted of 4 big musical acts with a medley of period tunes sung by animated animals. During such a show, it was the job of the Disney hostess to stand on the left-hand side of each stage and greet the audience at the start of each show and bid them farewell at the end of each show. The difference between the old Carousel of Progress and the new America Sings attractions was the direction in which the stage's walls moved. In the old ride, they moved counterclockwise and away from each other, but in the upgraded version, they moved clockwise and toward each other. At around 10:30 p.m., when the last show ended and the stages were shifting position in between the 45-second interval, a guest from the adjacent theater heard a blood-chilling scream. When he and the operators rushed to the scene, they were horrified to see Debbi Stone crushed between the walls of the 2 theaters. No one knows what led Debbi to move in between the walls. Whatever the reason, the fact remains that Debbi was crushed alive as the rotating wall closed against the stationary one. It was a very sad and gruesome incident. On the same day, Disneyland closed the whole ride for 2 days. As for the stage on which Debbi died, it remained closed for a year. Later, the stages were equipped with sensors to warn the operator if someone went too close to the walls, and additional changes were made by fixing breakaway walls in case the sensors failed. The ride was eventually shut down in 1988, and the building remained obsolete till it was refurbished in 1998 for a new attraction called Innoventions. There is a legend that her spirit lingered at the site for many years. Some patrons and Disneyland employees claimed that they have seen her spirit and heard a voice warning them to be careful. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell button to get notified every time we upload a new video that will take you to the heart of the scenes and mysteries of some of the most terrifying incidents, accidents, disasters, and paranormal events from around the world.